Alright, welcome. It is Tuesday, May 14th, 10:56 a.m., 10:56 military time also. So I'm looking at my face here, but the camera is there, so I should be looking at the camera, right? Nothing too crazy happened yesterday. I didn't have a lot of customers. I think I only inducted maybe about 10 parts, so I only have to deal with about 10 different things. So basically easy day. You know, every part, like I said, is about 15 minutes worth of work. I finished work at 7 and started writing letter for my girlfriend. To my girlfriend, I write her a letter almost every single day, email every single day, and we talk every single day, almost every single day whenever the internet permits, because we have mobile Facebook. 7:45 is when we start cleaning stations. Everybody cleans on the ship. Not everybody, only the ship's company for the most part. And some of the people who are attached to the ship are able to do the cleaning stations also, because there's got to be representatives, and which isn't really fair, but it's a battle that's illogical, but you can't win, because like squadrons have their own little program. They're strictly, hey, this person works 12 hours and you get 12 hours off, right? But like shipboard guys, we work like 15, 16 hours, and a lot of the shipboard guys complain to the higher chain saying like, look at them, look at us, what the F, we do the same job. But you just can't win. Which is crazy how that kind of works, but it is what it is. So clean for an hour, because we're in the Middle East area. It's very hot, so the ship is sweating, especially my cleaning spot. It's a fan room where cold air goes into the ventilation and all over the place, so there's like water dripping everywhere, and the water is like on the deck, on the floor, flooding back and forth. And I have a sponge, and I'm sponging it all into a little plate, and I'm taking the plate, putting in a trash bag, and then putting the trash bag in a drainage. So that's kind of my cleaning station. And then after that, 8:45, went to the office. Went to the office. Went to the bathroom first, the head, drained the water, went to the office, got my laptop because I was charging it, because I have my charger in the office, and laptop, my notebook, and all that kind of stuff. Went to my bed, my rack within my berthing, and I folded my laundry that I did like a couple days ago. Took a shower real quick, made my bed, put the laundry inside my rack, and took my stuff, came to this office, and that was about 10 o'clock. And from 10 to about 10:45, I was trying to educate myself on certain stuff. So I was listening to watching Matt Avila, which I didn't really take notes on. The video he made was, I guess he had like a Q&A video about his goals for 2019. Which one thing that I did take away is he's doing a challenge every 30-day challenge. Right, every month there's like a challenge. 11 o'clock bell. No announcements, okay. And next thing I watched is like a personal finance video. There's like stuff on my screen. Personal finance video, and that wasn't too interesting. It was actually pretty boring. It was talking about, I'm very into personal finance and financial management, so that's why I downloaded. Before I left for deployment, I went to a YouTube channel where it had like free online courses. Watched it, started, downloaded it and started watching it, and then it wasn't too good. It was boring, so I just stopped. 10 minutes in, and I watched the Dan Locke's video, 13 Things to Avoid to Become Rich. It's not a highly recommended video in my book, but it's definitely, if you want to be rich and successful, right, I highly recommend you just watch it. It's a very short video. I think it was about 10 minutes or so. and he was talking about 13 egos, right? You know, one of the things that hold people back the most is their ego, which, you know, in some ways I agree, and you know, I definitely have an ego. I don't know what, and I don't know what about it is holding me back. So it's, you know, good to get other people's perspective and, you know, learn from it. So there was a bunch, you know, like I said, 13, but 2 stood out to me the most. Number 1 is comfort zone ego, right? So the way that hit me was in the military, right? When you talk to people who have been in for almost 20 years or, you know, more than 20 years, one of the regrets I'd say maybe 15 to 20% of the people have within the military that do stay in for the 20, you know, or 20 even more, is that the fact that they didn't trust in their own abilities to leave the military, right? Because, you know, they'll join at like 20, 25, whatever, and by the time they get out, it's like 40, 45, which in some ways they're young, but the prime time of them to build something for themselves is gone, right? Because when you're 45, you have a family that you need to take care of, so you don't have a lot of free time to build something for yourself. You do, but maybe it's part-time, maybe it's less than 40 hours to build something for yourself at that point, right? Because you would think, you know, you watching, you think, oh, after you get out, you know, you get a steady paycheck for the rest of your life, but it's not enough to keep you afloat unless you decide to live very humbly. In it, it said your comfort zone is your income zone, right? So if the comfort zone, right, a lot of people in the military fall for this trap. You know, they come into the military, they only want to do 4 or 5 years, their first term, or maybe, you know, a couple of years after that for the shore. But they start to, you know, they get a family, they get married, have kids or dependents or whatever the case may be, and, you know, they think to themselves, oh, I don't know what's out there for me, you know, nothing's certain, but what is certain is that I'm going to get a steady paycheck and the military is taking good care of me. You know, I don't necessarily want to be in the military. My heart's not in the military, but it's a good career path, so I'm going to just do this for 20 years. And they're never able to produce something unique, something good for themselves. Not that I'm not knocking the military, right? It's a very good profession. It's a very good career. To some people, it's a very good lifestyle. But for most people, it's a job, right? It's a job that they choose to put up with for 20 years. And I'm just sharing with you my thoughts and opinions, right? I'm not giving you any advice, or I'm not, you know, telling you anything, telling you to do anything. I'm just sharing with you my thoughts. So that's the comfort zone ego. So, you know, it just reminded me of, you know, making sure that I get out of my comfort zone to do something that I'm not familiar with, to expand my level of knowledge, to be able to solve difficult problems. And when you solve difficult problems, you know, you get paid accordingly. The next thing is people-pleasing ego. And in it he says sometimes you have to put yourself first. For me, right, it would mean the world for me to be able to provide the, you know, the typical American dream of owning a home. You know, whether that's, you know, good or bad, but for them, the way they define success is owning a home, right? For me, if it was up to me, I'd live in a van, right? You know, I don't know if a lot of people know. If it was up to me, you know, I'd just be living in a van with about, you know, $250,000 or $500,000 in my bank. And that, you know, that's fine for me. You know, I don't need a lot of stuff. I don't need a lot of space. But for my parents, that's just kind of one of the things that I wanted to provide for them. And at the same time, you know, when he said this, it's, you know, if I put myself first, let's say, you know, I put my parents on the side for a minute. If I put myself first, you know, what makes sense to me? What makes sense to me right now is to settle down with my girlfriend in Florida, start my different businesses that I want to start and try, and maybe my first year of shore command make extra on top of what the military is paying me, make extra $20,000 in the second year in the second year in my shore, make extra $50,000 in my third year, make extra $100,000, just some rough rough goals that I have, right? And if I do that for myself, then, you know, if I become so successful on my own, then I can provide for my family and it wouldn't be a problem. But if I go to Philadelphia, I'm bound to a house. A lot of my capital that I've been saving up goes to that house, which I don't really want, right? So it's just different dynamics. I'm just sharing with you my problems, my thoughts. So yeah, it was just interesting to hear that kind of perspective, which just kind of helps me in my decision-making process of what I want to do. And overall, nothing too crazy happened. And 3 things that I just want to talk about. Yesterday, the stock market took a huge hit. I think it was about down like 600 points or 700 points of Dow. So at one point, my stock market portfolio was down 1,800 or something dollars, about 3 to 4% of my portfolio, which I wasn't freaking out. A lot of people, a lot of my friends were freaking out, which happens so often. Like last December, the stock market was going down. People were talking about recessions, and a lot of my friends were pulling out of the stock market, and that's exactly when you pull into the stock market. I've been buying, like Facebook, and what else did I buy? I bought Facebook, some Bank of America, and some Apple, and whatever, and it just shot back up, in the April and early May time, which is so fitting because yesterday I was thinking about, oh, should I sell? But so right now, I'm rolling the idea of, well, I'm obviously going to hold for now, but at the same time, does it make sense to buy stocks right now, or should I not buy stocks right now? If I do buy, it's either going to be Facebook or Disney or Bank of America. Bank of America is a good candidate because I think it went down huge yesterday, which is in a prime zone for me to buy. Facebook and Disney, it's still pretty high, but I think it'll be all right. But we'll see. We'll see what I want to do. I get paid tomorrow on the 15th, so we'll see what I want to do. I'll keep you updated. Next thing, I saw news where it was an article, basically Iran saying, oh, U.S. aircraft carrier is here, so what, so be it. You're just a giant target floating on the water. Basically, they're saying Iran doesn't care that we're here. The U.S. is Abraham Lincoln's here. Because we pulled off, we didn't go to Croatia just to expedite and come here like ASAP, which, a lot of people on the ship was bummed out, and, a lot of people kind of generally know, it probably wasn't that important, but it was just a muscle flex for the military. But who knows? Maybe it was that important. I'm just a lowly E4. But just to share with you kind of the feeling that's going through my mind, my heart, is every single day we're in a combat zone, right? Could within the next 5-10 minutes a missile fly and hit this ship and we'd be in the disaster mode, try to make sure the flooding stops and make sure we save as much people as possible? Yeah, that could happen, but that hasn't hit me yet, and I don't think it has hit a lot of people, because every single day is just another day, like it's been for the last 4 years, or the last like 3.5 years that I've been on this ship. It's just another day here to do my job well, and just try and survive every single day, right? Every single day, the military wants to squeeze as much as they possibly can out of me, right? And they're just trying to get as much juice possible every single day, tightening and squeezing it even more and more and more, and like they're just choking me out. They're like, give me more. And I'm just like, guys, chill out. Let me just exist here. And they're just demanding more, which is fine, right? That's the military. It's a giant multi-billion-dollar ship that only has like 5,000 people. There's a lot that every single person has to do, even though the work is imbalanced a lot of the times. There's a lot every single person has to do to make this ship operate, right? So I understand it. And the last thing is the Navy stressful? And then that's where I'll leave it off. So is the Navy stressful? Some people, it could be in two different aspects. At the end of the day, it's two different aspects. The job or the people, right? For example, some people join the military, thinking it's going to be, this grand life, but their recruiter screws them over and convinces them, instead of joining what you want, maybe be a CS, right? We need more cooks. You could be the cook for the president, right? And the recruiter, the smooth talking recruiter, convinces them, and you become a CS, and the CSs are just absolutely miserable. A lot of the CSs that I know did not want to become a culinary specialist, or some of them didn't have a choice other than to be a culinary specialist, and they just absolutely hate what they do every single day. So that's one aspect. So that's one end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum is the people. You could have the job that you want, right? But if you work with the crappiest people that just are absolutely filled with misery and hate, that rubs off on you, right? Just like it rubs off on me. Like my job, I don't mind it. I like it, right? But because of so much negativity around me, it makes me miserable. It makes me not want to be in the Navy. And I don't want to be in the Navy. So you could have a good job and bad people. That's bad formula. You could have a bad job but good people, and you could tolerate it. If you have a good job and good people, that's an amazing experience. And people love and that's what they think the military is. They do it for the first time, and they love this military experience. But if you have a bad job and you work with bad people, that's the worst possible thing that could possibly happen. Just so everybody's clear, your military experience is solely based on luck, right? Your military experience, I'm telling you this now for sure, is based on pure luck, right? The reason why my Navy experience has been so crappy is because I've got the short end of the stick compared to everybody else, right? I'm not saying I've had the worst end, but I haven't certainly had the middle or the best, right? So for example, me, right? When I didn't have a choice in where I got to go. The military said, hey, we're going to put you in Virginia with the USS Abraham Lincoln on a carrier that's being under construction, right? So came to the ship, signed up to be a logistics specialist, but instead I was used more as, what I joke around as janitorial specialist. So my expertise is in breaking the floors, replacing it, understanding what paint needs to go, the thickness, what paint needs to go where, pipe tracing. I have more knowledge about how the ship is designed than people who have been in the military that did not do the job that I did for 20 years. That they could have been on the ship, but they don't know what I know. It just doesn't match, right? Because what they've done for 20 years is not what I've done for 2 years, right? They don't know the ship's design like I do, because that was my job for 2.5 years, is to understand the ship's design and be able to trace wires and pipings and all that kind of stuff. And I signed up to be an LS, but here I am doing completely something else, like construction. And that's what a lot of people, and that's what me, if you look at my previous videos, that's what I discuss so many times. And that's why my military experience has been so miserable and so crappy, and it hasn't been so great. But you take somebody else, like somebody was telling me yesterday that their nephew joined the military, LS, right? First orders went to Shore Command for 3 years in Naples, Italy. Right? You get Shore Command your first time around, amazing, right? Awesome. And then, not even that, you go to Italy, a foreign country. You get to spend 3 years there. It's just It's just like, how fair is that? And I was stuck in Virginia for 3.5 years, or 3 years and 9 months, or whatever, and here I am on deployment finally. After, within 4 years, I got to visit one country, Palma, Spain, and then I think I'll maybe be able to visit like 4 or 5 or different other countries, and then that'll be it. But some people within the same time I have, within 5 years, already been to 10 different countries. Right? It's just all a matter of luck. All a matter of luck. So that's just what I'm going to be sharing with you today. That's what I wanted to discuss. So I'm going to go to sleep now. I'm pretty tired. It's 11:20. See ya.